Alright, what's up, yins guys? I'm gonna do another video, and I've been meaning to get around to make a video like this too, especially when I get a hater right away that I made a little video of my flipping them off. That I've seen this hater on one of yins guys' videos. I don't remember who, but I've seen them before on a couple of you guys' videos talking about the gang stalking thing. Eventually, I'm going to do a whole video about this on why women, if anybody, because there's not enough of this, why women should be into a little bit of fitness and all that stuff, you know, because especially geared toward. I don't see enough of it that any women in the videos claiming about gang stalking and that. And I think it's very important. I don't see any of it. And like one of the reasons too is like the world ain't getting any better, you know what I mean? So I've actually worked in a place one time that was half women, and I was nudging some people along, and I got some support, but like I had a shit starter. All of a sudden, they were raving about it when I was on with the company, like one of the bosses, but then when they found out it wasn't just yoga, wink wink. And then, you know, you're going to get people on YouTube, in the world and in YouTube, the secular, whether it's the secular or the religious side, yoga is wrong, or anything that looks like yoga, or any kind of provocative, any kind of thing that looks of gaining strength that looks provocative or offensive, challenging and confrontational to the hierarchy, whatever hierarchy it may be. Like I start by talking about the secular moralist part of the hierarchy. Whether it's a secular humanist, like a lot of them say in a workplace, I always say they want obedient workers. They want you to be good and tired, you know, in a workplace, and you're just can passively accept everything, you know what I mean? Good and tired, don't do any of the shit like I do that also somehow makes the job easier, or they'll turn up the heat on you in the job. Why is that? But yet, yeah, some people actually will. And how these places, whether it's a workplace hierarchy, the street hierarchy and the getting high hierarchy is totally different. You know, there's a different dynamic to it. I talk about it a little bit, but I think you need to talk about it in another video. But there's a point, if you were a person watching this that gets high or drinks once in a while and in a little fitness, it can be like you could have an asshole ex-wife or whatever, or ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. Yeah, you got weights at punching bag in your house, and all of a sudden you're dangerous, you're criminally insane, you could be terrorists. So again, like one of the gang stalking videos I was talking about, one particular dude, a man names, he says, yeah, you're accused of being, you're not even Muslim or any kind of Muslim extremist, but you're not even Muslim at all or any kind of thing, or if you were Christian the right way and you're not one of the fanatic Christians, you can all of a sudden be something. I mean, people will look at every single angle, because sometimes even in the fanatic religion, they want you know, it's challenging and confrontational to the hierarchy, and you're supposed to be submissive to the hierarchy, whether you get high and say fuck the church, or if you're in some religion, or some people on the religion side, you try to believe in God, but you're not in with every single thing, you know, or totally scriptural correct all the time. Then you got the athletic Christian, that's totally different. There are people, a part of society is afraid of them because some of them are a little more athletic and don't just cling to the NRA. Which the stuff I'm talking about, as I always said too, is the people that hate the NRA and want to leave you totally helpless when somebody wants to kill you. And you want to have a smart mouth and say, well, maybe whether you have a gun or not, or you don't have a gun or not, some things that these NRA haters cannot take away from you, you know what I mean? But leave you helpless. So some crazy damn asshole, you know, can do whatever he wants or whatever. Well, the same thing is, there's people out there, I can argue whether either hierarchy, whether you're out there on the street that ain't into the church, or fanatic religious side or the secular humanist side, there's like a thing where getting strong and smart is disrespectful to the hierarchy. I mean, no matter which, there's like all of a sudden there's these people like, not all of us, but some of us, all of a sudden that, how come you see certain people out there, whichever culture you're in, you notice that they're pretty built there, look like they're taking steroids. Some of them have intimidating features, like they're the intimidating class. And say if you're going to get in high crowd, and everybody else is wearing the same kinds of t-shirts and shorts and the same stature, and you're not allowed to be stronger or smarter. If you're a moderate getting high person, there's like an unwritten code. If you're in a bigger city, you can get beat up real bad, or shot, or whatever, or killed, or subtle warnings put to you, so to speak. But then the secular humanist and the other moralist culture that wants to keep you in line, they usually will make references to police or whatever, say you're criminally insane. You walk around with your nose too high or some chip on your shoulder, you're a little bit outspoken, you said, yeah, you have some moral values to a certain point, but you don't subscribe to this bullshit or that. You just do whatever you got to do, and you got your friends, your own friends, and your own life, and you got some people that you're cordial with, and it's like, but yet you have nothing to do with them and their ways. It's like, you got some people you can be somewhat friends with. Oh, it's like you're not enemies, but if you can be a person like I have friends too, to even get high once in a while. Some of them I think a little too much, but it's like you're not enemies, but I just have your life. I have my life and you have yours. No big deal, but you'll get passive aggression, like you're getting eyed up on every angle. But yet the one part of the so-called community-oriented policing, and I said in a separate video that with the legalization of certain drugs for the sick or whatever, marijuana, I'm not against it. But since government is sanctioning it now, you're going to have a whole new class of people in politics, and maybe it may take, I don't know, maybe about 20 years, another generation, or pretty quickly, I don't know, because some of them are waiting to get, it's opening up in different political levels now. If you don't do enough of drugs that's now sanctioned by government, you believe you want to be strong and smart, don't take no antidepressants, and you're not on board with constantly wanting to be sick, then every little thing you do now too, whether on a weight set or whatever, or, you might be something terrorist, or there's like a thing where they're trying to shame you. It's challenging and confrontational. The hierarchy teach you that you don't have no friends. Something is either challenging and confrontational. One side says it's weird, or it's bizarre, or it's some kind of moral ground, like the religious side. I took question your, I even got it, like me, you got your, I'd almost want to try not to laugh about this, but I'd tell you stories with family members that I've had trying to tell me that stuff that I shouldn't be putting online, and that it's trying to tell me that it's some kind of moral or wrong, or it could be possibly criminal and insane. It's like, hey, I have a God-given right to do whatever, just like anybody else. I think all of a sudden doing something to get strong, so you can walk around with a cocky look on your face and not give a fuck and be intimidated by people's shit. You have a right to surround yourself with whatever. Freedom of association, I thought we had. But I'm trying to tell you, if you got this far in this video, some people will laugh at this, but you think you're free to actually, I don't know, have a punching bag in your house or get strong or whatever. Think again, there's some people, you could be a woman noticing this or whatever if you dabble in a little shit, because the only reason guys look at it anymore, but yet out there in the world, you can be some kind of crazy bitch if you decide not to take anybody's shit. But the places like Planet Fitness and gyms, except if they're independently owned, whether it's government or authorities, they could see on the roster who's on them or whatever, and any other kind of club you belong to. And I mean, you can argue that like you buy a weight set in fucking Walmart or whatever too. You know, it shows up electronically in cameras. You know, I'm not saying paranoid about it. You own it in your house now. You got somebody at a certain kind of level of beliefs. And just because you walk around some kind of a way with some look on your face and you snub somebody else's idealism, or you don't subscribe to or conform to their shit, but you try to be nice to a little bit of everybody, but yet you snub someone anyway. You're going to let them tell you how your life is going to be. All of a sudden, you can be a terrorist, especially in the community-oriented humanist side, and you get the other sides for whatever reason. You're graced with, if you're accepted by the hierarchy, you could socially be more accepted, but you can, but yet at the same time, let's talk about these, the gyms and the machines. I see a lot of society people work real hard at these fitness machines, whether you can afford to buy one and paying for it for years on a credit card, or you go to a gym, or you can go the cheaper route, you know, and buy a few things like weight sets and things like that, or overly expensive treadmill that you can barely fit in the door of your house. I don't see the point in those. I mean, don't people fucking walk anymore? But well, see, that's just it. I mean, you're not really free to be strong and smart for any other reasons. The gyms are put together in a way, you know, I mean, whoa, you have punching bags and stuff like it in the gyms, and there's people with tattoos in there, yeah. So people be looking at me kind of funny. It says, yeah, you got all kind of people, even different groups going to the gyms, but yeah, you're on the roster, and they want you to be, some people want to make it unattainable except by a machine, some machines and all that, and then you're assaulted with all the things that are on television that are very entertaining, but yet, and again, you're meant to bust your ass and work your ass off, ruin your body and all that. They don't want you doing anything like that during lunch break or anything, or even on their grounds, or even in your house. If they find out you're doing it even outside of work, any kind of things to obtain any strength, and you got a smart mouth and you walk around all cocky, you're like, they don't like that one bit. Which the reason why I'm bringing up television is because, you work out, you watch the shit on TV. So you're watching everything from wrestling, which is, some stuff is funny, you know, you get tired of it. You know, the women divas on wrestling, which, when I'm talking about women and gang stalking, if you have any women that make videos, they should be making videos like this. So affects women, you got on the TV shows, you know, the women, the divas and all that. Anything guys and girls are watching, right? You watch TV in your spare time, busting your ass in the workplace, and they're putting in your head that, oh yeah, you go to Planet Fitness, everything is for wink wink burning fat, wink wink. And in case any of my haters are watching this about yoga satanic, what you guys ain't grasping, what I'm trying to talk about here is the rest of us that ain't even in with that, we're saying we don't know anything, worship any kind of things about, ain't worshiping any weird gods or anything you're accusing. In our culture, outside of your warped culture, you don't get it. People like me, not worshiping any of your god you're accusing me of, but I'm flipping you the bird. Some of us are using, some of us stuff ain't Pilates. We got a thing called primal movement. I'm trying to explain, and people hate that too. But the Christian fanatics ain't getting it, that the rest of us are saying yoga, wink wink. It ain't for any other kind of reason, so we can, and they're making sure you do the softer, the acrobatic part of yoga, and they want to encourage you, like women I see on doing the yoga, very wonderful people, but separate video, I made other videos talking about this, that somebody out there wants you to look at women all the time like a pervert. They don't want you to this is just a whole mixture of a bunch of shit that I could be talking in videos that a few of it's worth making this video because some of you know me, know exactly where it's at. You're welcome to take pieces of this video and criticize it, which the people that say yoga is satanic, it's a different kind of harassment, and the people in the world, they're going to come at you with different bullshit. Like even I had actual family members saying something that it might be against the law. It looks like bad intentions. It looks like this. It's weird. But a lot of you guys, you don't realize you're looking at things. I see a lot of people looking at the yoga videos, mostly women. Same old bullshit comments. Somebody out there wants you to do that, and the rest of your friends that are guys, and everybody in these certain crowds, they want you to think like this because whichever hierarchy that's out there, you want to say, use the word gang stalking, like I said, it's challenging and confrontational. One side, you can get beat up or shot if you're in a big city, or you can be in the other intimidating class that's allowed to. They got the steroids, they got the enforcing class, either some privately owned places that are gyms, could be training facilities for the enforcing class and thugs at a certain level, the more discreet ones. They enforce some of them you may not be welcoming because if you got a certain moral values about you, you'd know right away, not always welcome. It's like training facilities for the enforcing class of the thugs, so to speak, the intimidating class. And some of them do it more discreetly than the big cities where you can get beat up or killed or murdered. But then you got the other side, the policing, the community, the secular humanist, and some of the religions, depending on who you are, not all of them, unless you're the religious side that's NRA, and hopefully you don't cling just to your gun. That I have to question the thing where they don't want to just take your guns away. They want you to, everybody be in the same t-shirts and shorts, pink, or else pink collared shirts or something, skinny arms, feminized. They're different groups I talk about later. Policing, they got you on a radar, so to speak, you know what I mean? And aside from the street enforcing class, they would use police or army or whatever, or if you're a person that maybe not even being in the military anymore and you find the whole culture is totally different now out there in the world, what they're teaching kids these days, you're not being the hater and attacking anybody for their different orientations, but all of a sudden there's another question that I would talk about too. You get the women and the girls that want to be boys now because they don't get enough respect. You understand that. You don't need a fucking sex change or whatever. Like you make a reference to the movie Pitch Black, Oh, everybody, if they thought I was a boy, I'd get, I mean, you understand that because when we were kids, we had girls that dressed up like boys played football with kids. We know that. So those things can be encouraged as transgender. You fucking know the difference, to tell you the truth. But what they're encouraging now to, if you're not on board with, you can get harassed. The male to female transgender, they want to encourage that more because they want, except if you're one of them people like that. What is there? Bruce Jenner, aka Caitlyn Jenner's got biceps with those sides. They want to wear a dress, but they want now to get young kids. If you're a boy, want you to be a girl and not. They want to, there's these other groups like Anita Sarkeesian and people are pushing for now. They want you to be totally down where no strength whatsoever. Totally everything is toxic masculinity, even in their world, you're like, if you don't want to cross dress, the next generation change that over. You pick up something that weighs 5 pounds too confidently, you might be somebody that wants to beat his wife or his girlfriend, or somebody that might go shoot somebody. Terrorist. They're playing that game, so I make a total video on that later about why the male to female transgender shit that's being encouraged. Not like not out of hating. Matter of fact, if you're one of them people, they're going to do what they want. You just say live and let live. Fuck it. You can be harassed. But unlike the female, the male transgender, which I say that why the fuck do they need to do that if they want to cut their hair short and be a boy? Just do that. And then if they change their mind, they can be who they are and just change their mind. They don't need no injections or any kind of shit or butcher themselves, you know what I mean? But the reason why I say that the male, the female transgenderism is deliberately being encouraged, and you're not allowed to criticize it. Matter of fact, if you live and live, you walk around with a chip on your shoulder and want to be strong and smart. Oh yeah, you might be triggering somebody. Anything, your activities are weird or criminally insane. You might be triggering somebody. They want everybody else to raise boys to dress like girls and all that, and not even be. But anyway, this relates because later on in the future, if you're in certain neighborhoods you live in, you're going to get harassed because that people want to encourage that. So that I think that's in that respect, they want to social engineer everybody. Gang stalking is dovetailing into social engineering. I don't know how whatever anybody else that does these videos are saying, more extreme toward the other. But the reason why I am believing it is the social engineering, which I got into other stuff that I'm talking in another video, but any of you guys that know me in the videos, that this is pretty much videos I can eventually make separately. But like I said, unlike some of these other guys that do gang stalking videos, my channel doesn't revolve around that. But yet, that if I wanted to make a video, part of me, I didn't really need to make the video and say all this shit I was doing. This is all separate shit in different videos. I didn't really need this much of a video to say, well, to make a case. I'm just trying to make a case where there's different levels of mixed culture around of policing, that certain people were allowed to be strong and smart, that are designated the enforcing class, and the verbal and intellectual intimidating class to without physical intimidation. There's innuendo of that. There's a little bit of the physical part because the enforcing class, some of them, you can get different innuendos depending, how built they are or whatever. But then you get some of the other ones too that are in numbers that they ain't even shit, but they want to use the thing, gather their mob and heckle you or whatever works in the workplace. And none of them are built or intimidating. They're just, they want to make you feel like you're all alone. You just gotta, hey, we're all wearing the same stupid t-shirt and shorts, and we're all dressing childlike. As childlike as, there's the thing about dressing as childlike as possible. I was going to make a separate video like that because I got friends that dress different ways. This is not to attack anybody like that either. Because like I said, I worked in some good places where I had a motley crew and all that stuff too, and friends that dress like this. But there's an aspect of so many places that, especially if you got groups, they're like hecklers. They're not the ones that are the hecklers. They're not even really built. They don't like anybody getting stronger or smarter. You're supposed to kiss ass, and they indicate that whether they're the getting high after work side, that they're pretty much almost like hail to some drug daddy. There's some enforcing class or group out there, and you act any different way than them. The thing about, there's like the crowd where, whether you go on the if you're talking about the side that's wants to feminize everybody for a common good, and tell you what you can and can't do, and supposedly for your own good. They're telling you for your own good because they'll start because they're concerned about you or whatever, for your own good. The ones that don't want to feminize, they got the ones that, I think a couple of the different cultures, whether it's the how some of you guys put community oriented, that's more like secular, or the religious side, or the side that gets high all the time. they all have a look that they encourage that it varies a little bit about t-shirts and shorts and to look as childlike as possible. Not just because you just dress like it, that you, like some of the friends that I have do. There's an aspect of it that to look as, and wearing the hair too, as childlike as possible and avoid any, and some of it even, depend on, what, where you're at, even may make faces and heckle. Act like fucking school kids. That's what gang stalking is all about. Grown people, they act like fucking school kids over at work, and you're supposed to be intimidated. And the reason why I make this video, you're, what I did in some workplaces to give an innuendo of I don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? Deliver like a newspaper, and then you get fired from a job really for projecting something that's wrong. But yeah, the childlike humbleness look, I mean, it's a little bit of that in each culture. And if it isn't that childlike humbleness, the t-shirt and shorts, no offense to any of you guys that look like a couple of my friends that dress like addicts, and they're not. If it isn't that, there are some sides that want the to dehumanize and feminize everybody, encourage. They'll give you the option that you don't to not want to be a girl and feminize. Yeah, you can still keep your masculinity, right, as long as it is a toxic masculinity. They want you to wear some kind of pink polo shirt, pink collared shirt, and maybe it's t-shirt and shorts that are some colors that you want to be like I'll make a separate video on the religious fanatic humbleness versus the secular humanist humbleness, and how you're supposed to be obedient to the hierarchy. Real fucked up bunch of shit, you know what I mean? That's what it's all about, if you're a Christian that has all your shit together and wants to be a conscientious objector of things for the right reasons, God bless you. Yes, you can get harassed for, there's the humbleness that's a good thing, and there's a secular type of humbleness, and there's a Christian fanatic on the other areas that want you to keep looking up to them, and if you're intellectually smarter, when you feel guilty for being smart. But yeah, this time to end this video. 27 fucking minutes long.